Well, hello and welcome back. In this video we'll address the door locks that are kind of not working. They work a little bit, but not like they should. And I'll show you what I mean here in a bit. Also, I ran into a couple of other issues with the car. One is a sagging door hinge on the driver's side, and also the electric seat. Kind of an odd problem, but it goes back and forth just fine. However, when we try to raise it or lower it, only one side of the seat raises, kind of tipping it over to the side. So I don't know what's going on there. So anyway, it looks like two more videos after this one. So anyway, let's get started with this, and I'll show you the problem that I have with the door locks. All right, here's the issue with the door locks. So anyway, when I go to hit the lock button, you can see that it tries to go down, but this doesn't go down. And sometimes if you try enough, it'll actually find its way down. But more often than not, it doesn't. And the same thing once it's down, I try to get it to go up. It tries to pop up and it doesn't. And the exact same thing happens over on the other side. So I don't believe it's a door actuator. What I think the problem is the relay switch, which happens to be located in the body control module on this car. So I went ahead and purchased another body control module. It's a used one, but supposedly tested out and should work. And the body control module on this car is located, oh boy, it's kind of difficult to see here. Well, I can't really show you, it's not light enough. But anyway, it's down here on the left side on the driver's side kick panel. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. There's 5 connectors that go to it. Anyway, I'll go pull that one out. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll put the new one in, and hopefully that will solve our problem. All right, my assumption of the body control module being the issue may be wrong, unless I got another bad body control module. So anyway, I'm going directly to the actuator, and going to test the connections going to that. So the way I did that was I just hooked up to the ground on the battery with the jumper cable, and then went over here with the ohm meter. I went ahead and pulled the actuator from the door, and here's the connector that powers that actuator. Then I hooked the ohm meter up to the other end of the jumper cable, so I have a really good ground, and then just test for continuity here. And what I found was about 0.7 ohms of resistance, which is plenty good. So perhaps the issue is on the power side. I'll have to check that. And what I'll probably do first is just hook up a good known 12 volts to this, and then see if I can get the actuator to work. Alright, now that we have a direct connection to a good battery, so let's see if we can make the actuator work. It does seem to work, and I'll reverse the leads here. Goes both ways, very easy. So perhaps the problem still has to do with power delivery, and maybe I got a second bad BCM. Anyway, let's do some further testing. Alright, I went ahead and hooked the car battery back up and plugged the connector back into the actuator. So I'm just going to hit the button on the door and then compare it with what we just saw and see if it acts any differently. Okay, so here we go. Yep, it does not have the power to make that operate. So there's unlock. It won't do it. And yeah, it just does not have the power delivery. So again, I'm thinking BCM or perhaps the wiring that goes to this. Next, let's go ahead and disconnect the connector to the actuator again, and then actually measure the voltage on it when we hit the the lock button, and see if we have some kind of power delivery problem. Alright, I went ahead and hooked up the multimeter to the power going to the actuator, and then set it for max, and then hit the lock button a couple times, and found that it was getting a max voltage of only 11.74. So it's kind of looking like the power delivery is not there for this. So let's dig in deeper. Alright, the problem has been found and rectified. The locks work perfect now, every time. All right, the actual problem turned out to be the door lock actuator, which I did not expect. I did take this one apart to see if I could find anything wrong with it mechanically, which I could not. So I don't have a reason really why these go bad. They just seem to lose their strength over time. I don't know, maybe it has to do with some corrosion on these little terminals here. They do look a little corroded. But I didn't bother trying to clean them up or experiment with this any further. The lock actuators are so cheap, it was just as easy just to go ahead and replace it. So anyway, that's what I did. Well, in summary, the good is that the locks now work. The bad is my initial assumptions were incorrect, and I spent more money than I should have to fix the problem. I originally had assumed that it must be a power delivery issue to the locks because both locks were being affected the same, both left and right door. So I figured, okay, it's most likely something that's delivering power to the locks. What are the odds on two locks going bad simultaneously? Also, the power check that I did going to the locks, that 11.7 or whatever it was, that looked low, was a result of a slow responding multimeter. And when you energize the locks on that car, it's just for about a half second, and the multimeter didn't have enough time to read that voltage accurately. I ended up using another one that measured it a little more accurately, but anyway, that's why it really wasn't a power issue. The issue was the door actuators, and apparently they just go bad over time. I did take the bad actuators apart and took a look at them, and I didn't see anything obvious as to what was going on, but apparently they just get weak over time and they don't respond very well when they're energized. So rather than trying to fix them, I just replaced them. They're so cheap online, you can get them for around $15, $17 for both left and right. It's just not worth messing with them. So anyway, don't make the same mistake I did. Go with the easy things first and the cheap things first, and then try that. Anyway, the two remaining issues for the car are the power seat on the driver's side. There's something broken in the mechanism. And the door hinge, the sagging door on the driver's side, is also bad. So those will be the next two videos that I cover. Till then, see you next time.